It's another war story. When you hear of wars, you picture humanity falling and rising, running away from disaster. After the war comes sober reflection. There are stories of the Nigerian Civil War. The stories are heartbreaking, but sometimes they are lifting. Lifting in the sense that, are we ready to learn lessons from the war? One aspect of the war that raises a lot of questions is the Asaba Massacre. When Nigerian troops captured Asaba, what happened? We have seen the Battle of Ore. So I want us to move faster.
Okay.
So from Ore, what was the next point?
The next point was for 7th Brigade was Eho.
Eho.
Now, Eho is Eho was a village that time.
Eho is in Edo State.
In Edo.
Okay.
Very close to Ubanke.
Yes.
Now, Eho, very small town. Then we got to that place, and the bridge leading to that town from the south was broken. You know, we are going this way up to Ubanke.
And you are talking about the old road, right?
The old road, no new road.
Good.
At that time, no new road. So that bridge was broken. I was one of the soldiers that climbed rope and crossed to Eho town. Now we are about 30 or 40. The Samejo, I was a corporal, the one I was given at Okitupa. And the Samejo led us. You know, there were no commissioned officers now. Officers were not many. So we got to the end of that town. And for us to decide, we saw Biafra coming. There we started fighting. We never knew that they purposely abandoned that town.
So that trap and envelope you.
So that they could envelope us. When you see them in front like this, before you know it, they'll be trying to enter through left or right.
Did you see Biafrans as enemies while you were fighting the war?
What will you call them? They were killing you and you were killing them.
So
are you friends?
Okay. So at this point,
no, there's no friendship now. A friend doesn't kill a friend now. If
war.
I hold it, no, you blame the war. It's the war. If there is war between two children, now war.
War is war.
War is war. By the time we got to that place, we fought for good 4 days. The 5th day, they've already repaired the road and we moved. We got to Ubanke. By the time we got to Ubanke, they were telling we saw corpses that was headquarters of Biafra Brigade. So somebody told us that it got to a point when they will ask, their commander will ask them to go to Eho. That Biafra will refuse. They started shooting themselves. Now we move. By the time we got to Agbo Junction, 8th Brigade has already captured Agbo. When we were going, the commander was telling us that he's supposed to have captured Agbo. But because of that delay at Eho, they couldn't. So we got to Agbo Junction and now they asked us to move. We immediately rounded up Umunede. No, Umunede is very close to Agbo. We rounded the Umunede and we started going. Where it is possible for you to enter motor, you enter motor. If you enter motor and there were pockets of enemy, you hear Biafra shooting, You know, shooting is different from the other shooting. When Biafra fired, you will know. When your own troops fire, you will know.
How do you know? What's the difference?
The sound of that rifle.
Who had the best guns?
No, it's Nigeria now.
Nigeria had the best weapons.
The best weapon. Because we were not using Chinese weapons.
Okay.
We were using English-made weapons. While Biafra were using Chinese weapons. So when the sound, when they heard the sound, it's quite different. So like I was saying, we moved. Now we got to St. Patrick around 6:30 in the evening. So it rained, we had to pin down. So the next
and that was on October
4,
1967.
Now, October 5, as early as 7 o'clock, we started the operation. As we were going between Asaba and St. Patrick, the commander, Godwin Ali, was fired and was immediately taken back. And it was